And good morning and welcome to WJOP Radio, WJOP LP, Newburyport. And we have a guest with us this morning here on Wynn's World and WJOP Radio. It's Bob Keller of Keller Therapeutics. And Bob, welcome back to WJOP Radio.
Thank you very much, Wynn.
I think you were...
The first.
The very first.
Actually, second.
Jack Bradshaw?
Yeah, was first.
Okay. And they're going to honor him this weekend. So
that's great.
When are they going to honor you?
I don't think so.
But no, it's a lot of good information that we are able to pass along here. And some of the folks who may not have heard you previously, they might not know that you've written the book.
I have written a book. It's called Making Sense of Medicine, Medical Matters Made Simple.
Mm-hmm. And it's going well. And the nice thing about that book, which, you can get it online. You can also get over to Jabberwocky, or you have probably a few in your trunk, right?
A few thousand.
Oh, no.
No. No, actually, I'm down to my last copy.
Oh, well, good. That's excellent.
Yeah, it is.
But it puts medical issues in simple terms.
It does. That's what I try to do. What I put in the book really is what I usually try to explain to my patients, is what's going on in their body and what they can do about it.
And one of the reasons that folks have a chance to see you is because they're in pain.
That's absolutely true. It is a pain management practice, different from most pain management in that I don't use any drugs or surgery, no needles, no cracking, none of that stuff, just soft tissue techniques.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when it comes to pain management, some of the things that do cause pain, sciatica, for example.
Sciatica. Many of the people I see are suffering from some sciatica. Sciatica is not a disease in itself. It's really a bunch of symptoms. Pain, numbness, tingling, weakness in your legs usually, and usually just on one side of your body. But when you've got it, you know it.
Well, I still consider myself a fairly young person.
You are.
But 30 years ago, I experienced my first bout of sciatica.
Did you?
And it was determined that it was because I was sitting on my wallet. Not that it was filled with cash, but I was sitting on my wallet, and it, I guess, misaligned my body, and it was pinching nerves.
Interesting you should say that, because that's one of the first pieces of advice I give to every man who comes in to see me for sciatica. Get that bloody wallet out of your back pocket. And the second thing is get rid of that leather belt. Get an elastic belt that will give when you move, because what the wallet is doing, what the belt is doing, is it's compressing the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve is one of probably the longest and widest nerve in your body. Starts in the lower back, goes through your buttocks, down into the thighs, where it branches out into two branches, down your lower leg and even into your feet. And so there are a whole bunch of places along there where it can get compressed. And if you compress a nerve like that, it hurts like the dickens.
Wow. All right, so get that stuff out of there so you don't pinch that nerve.
Absolutely. No, it's for decades. I have myself carried my wallet in one of my front pockets, or what I call a wallet. It doesn't have much money.
I don't remember you ever mentioning the elastic belt, though.
Really? Well, I do. And the other thing, there are really three things. Get the wallet out of, or anything else out of your back pockets. Elastic belt, and when you stand, let your knees bend a little bit. Don't stand with locked knees, because that puts a very funny kind of pressure on your lower back and your buttocks.
Huh. I'm practicing now. Good. I didn't know that. Wow.
But there are a whole lot of other things that can cause sciatica. Well, probably the most common, 90%, is what we call a herniated disc or a ruptured disc. Between each of the vertebrae in your spine, there's this spongy stuff with a big fibrous layer around it. so it'll be held in place, but partly as a result of age, possibly injury, possibly if you sit too much for too long, that fibrous coating will begin to crack. And so that spongy disc material can begin to ooze out. And it will cause pressure on the sciatic nerve.
All right. So as that fluid comes out, then the spine pinches.
Yeah,
right?
Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll get that doctor's degree yet before I know it. So,
but there are other things. I mean, it can be a result of arthritis in your spine or your hips or your knees or whatever. Could be osteoporosis, which is where your bones are actually beginning to weaken and not become as firm as they might be. It could be a tumor, or it could just be one vertebra sliding over one another, because that sciatic nerve is one of the silly things, the way our body was designed. Right at your sacroiliac joint, right at the bottom of your spine,
okay,
there's a muscle called the piriformis muscle. This is a very strong muscle, and it very easily gets tightened and maybe even go into spasm.
Huh.
And what the interesting bad design is that the sciatic nerve runs right under the piriformis. And so if anything funny happens to that piriformis muscle, you're going to have a sciatic reaction.
Oh. So you have to loosen that up somewhat.
Don't sit a lot, which is difficult for most of us. But also do stretches, just to stretch that lower back part and around the sciatic, around the...
that nerve. But now, do you have stretching exercises that you recommend?
I do. I mean, I often recommend exercises to my patients. Usually we'll do a treatment to try to help them manage the pain. I often sometimes get rid of the pain, and then show stretching, because once we get rid of the pain, we want to do things to make sure it doesn't come back. And so, yes, stretching is definitely it.
All right. We're talking with Bob Keller of Keller Therapeutics, and you can always call the office at 978-465-5111. The website, seacoastmedicalmassage.com.
The very one.
Okay.
There are other alternatives. I mean, acupuncture has sometimes helped. Yoga and my MYK practice, as I mentioned. And sometimes, if the herniation is really bad on the disc, you may need surgery. But try everything else first.
So you have the discs, and then you have the vertebrae, and then the discs go between the vertebrae?
The discs go between the vertebrae just to cushion them and to make room for the nerves that are running down your spinal column to get out. Because every muscle in your body is innervated by nerves that come from the brain, as it were. And they come down the spinal cord, and in various places between vertebrae, they branch out. And they then branch out further to innervate every muscle in your body. Okay. Every muscle in your body is hardwired to your brain by at least one nerve.
Huh. I didn't know that it could be hardwired in two locations.
Yes.
Or three, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the reason that sometimes you can have some sort of injury that causes damage to one nerve or another, and you still may be able to use the parts that are innervated by that nerve because they're also innervated by other nerves.
Okay.
It's not always the case, but in many cases it is.
Huh. Well, this is why your book is so interesting, because you talk about things in a way that people can explain, or can understand.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a chapter on sciatica.
Yeah, I bet there is. and there are a lot of chapters, too, because it's a fairly thick book.
It is. I think it's 80-some chapters, I think.
A lot of things can go wrong with the human body.
Yeah, somebody once asked me when I was going to run out of things to write about. I said, well, when I run out of things that can go wrong with the body, I'll run out of things to write about.
Yeah, gee. Well, so sciatic pain, and it can affect women as well as men.
Heaven, yes. Yes. Yeah, and for women as well, I suggested putting a little bend in your knee. Walk with a little attitude.
Yeah. Well, I see that, and actually, I've been paying attention to how people walk recently, because I remember seeing a clip, maybe Al Pacino. or somebody like him. And that's how they get into character. They study how people walk.
Yes, very much. Yes.
It's fascinating. And you can tell, some people walk with a purpose. Some people shuffle along. Some people, walk timidly.
Yeah, I do that too. I sometimes get in trouble because I'm always looking at people and the way they're moving.
Stop that.
I'm not really a predator. I just want to know how your body works.
Because I wrote the book. All right. Well, Bob, thank you for the painful discussion about the sciatic nerve. Oh my
Welcome.
gosh!
Well, it's glad to be here.
But my pleasure to have you here, and we've been talking for years and years and years now.
We have.
So if you have any questions, you can call Bob, 978-465-5111, Keller Therapeutics. The website is seacoastmedicalmassage.com, and the office at 166 Water Street in Newburyport. So again, Bob, thank you for joining us. Anything else you wanted to add about the sciatic nerve or any other?
Just treat it kindly.
Okay. Anything? How about, because I think that stuff is happening as far as allergies go. Is there anything you can do with what you do for allergies?
Yes and no.
Uh-huh.
Allergies are really a problem with the immune system, and what I try to do is treat whatever symptoms you have. If it's a nasal problem or runny eyes or hearing or something else, itching, I'll try to treat those things. But it's hard to know exactly what the best things are to do.
Yeah, but it's all hardwired to your brain, isn't it?
It is.
How about
Absolutely.
that? All right. Well, Bob, thank you.
Thank you, Win.
And we'll see you around.
Great.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Bob Keller, Keller Therapeutics in Newburyport, 166 Water Street. And again, you have any information or any questions, you can always call Bob at 978-465-5111 and the website seacoastmedicalmassage.com. Our guest right now is James Jones, and James is a Newburyport pickleball enthusiast. I remember that from the last time you were on, and how's the fall season going?
Good morning, Win. Thank you for having me. The fall season is going great. We have come a long way in terms of when we started pickleball. Actually, the senior center started the first organized program here in in Newburyport rather. And I participated in it. It's where I learned to play. And we had about 20 members come through that program. Today, through partnerships with the Parks Department and also the Racquet Club of Newburyport, we've expanded from those 20 people to over 350 members now. Oh. So we are growing quite a bit.
That is quite a bit. That's beyond my calculation of percentages, but it's a lot. So that's fantastic. So you didn't grow up wanting to be a pickleball player?
No, not at all. Not at all. I always liked beach paddleball and was online trying to find out if there were any organized groups there. And lo and behold, I stumbled upon pickleball. And just to give you a little background of what pickleball is all about, it's been around for 52 years, so definitely not a newcomer to the sports industry, and definitely not a fad. It was really created at that time for a backyard fun for families and close friends by this gentleman in Washington, D.C. The state of Washington. And it's a combination of ping pong, tennis, and badminton. There are elements from each one of those sports. And it's both played singles and doubles, and it can play indoors and outdoors. One of the biggest questions I receive is, why pickleball? What's the origin of the name? Well, the creator of the game had a dog named Pickles, and he used to love to chase down balls. So the name has stuck. And today there is a United States of America Pickleball Association. There is an international association for pickleball players, a professional league. We have tournaments all over the world. and it is continuing to grow. Right now, they estimate that we have over 2.5 million players in this country alone, and over 5,000 locations to play in the country, with 80 additional new places coming on board every month. So you can see how it's been growing nationally, and that's certainly applicable here for Newburyport as well.
Well, I remember the last time you were on, you were talking about Thursdays. They set up the nets over at the basketball courts here at the Senior Center in Newburyport. And I know you're busy on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You have your thing going on. And I'm sure there's more in Newburyport, right?
Yes. We have really kind of expanded the opportunities for people to learn and play the game. We have had the summer program at the Senior Center for every Thursday, and that ended just recently. But at Perkins Park, we play now Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 9 to 12, and in the evening at Perkins on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights, 5 to dusk. And we encourage everybody to come down and learn the game. It's a lot of fun and really is a community-building sport. In addition, we offer complimentary lessons every time we play. So if you are an athlete or a couch potato, doesn't matter. We'll give you a demo paddle and we'll give you some lessons to learn the basics. And you'll see all levels of players, beginners to advanced.
So it's a combination of ping pong, tennis, and badminton?
Yes.
So what's the element from ping pong?
It's the kind of the soft strategic shot, the placement shot. And tennis is also a combination of that soft strategic shot, but also power from the baseline. So ping pong really brings in that eye-hand coordination, that agility, that quickness.
All right, and badminton?
Badminton, it's the same size court as a badminton court,
okay.
Obviously with a lower net. And it is really kind of some of the quickness and speed. If you see a professional badminton match, it is incredibly fast. And that has elements in pickleball as well.
Wow. So this is a busy place. So eventually, I don't want to rush it, but eventually it's going to snow. And where do you go then?
Yeah, this past winter and this winter again, actually starting October 1st through the end of April, we've partnered again with the Racquetball Club of Newburyport. They have been tremendous partners, as had the Parks Department for the Perkins program and the Senior Center for the Thursday morning programs here. Really, at the indoor level, we have a ton of people coming through. That's partially how we grew our numbers so much, is because new people kept on coming to learn through the complimentary lessons. So this year, we're doing the same thing. We're offering those lessons for free. We have people that will come in at advanced levels and at beginning levels and every level in between. And the Racquet Club has been a tremendous partner. We're going to be meeting on Sundays at 5:30 to 8 o'clock, and that's beginning again October 1st and going through the end of April.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Do you see, right now we're watching the U.S. Open tennis tournament. Do you see a U.S. Open pickleball tournament coming up?
There already has been one.
Oh, no.
There's been multiple ones.
Really?
Yes, the last one was in Florida, and that was, I believe it was in Naples. And it attracts thousands of people to come, hundreds of players. And it is an amazing tournament to see. We have tournaments all over the country. In fact, the United States Pickleball Association's Atlantic Regionals are starting in October, towards the end of October, in Hartford, Connecticut. And I'm taking a chance, but I'm going to enter the tournament in singles. So we'll see how I fare. Probably not very well.
Now, you have to have the paddle, right?
Yes.
Now, is the paddle like a tennis racket without the strings?
It is. It's about the shape of a racquetball racket, and it is a flat surface. You know, there are titanium ones, there's graphite, there's composite ones, basic wooden ones. The ball is a little smaller than a wiffle ball, but it has holes like a wiffle ball and made of that polymer plastic. And then the net is a little smaller than a tennis net. But they're, like I said, elements of all three of those sports that are wrapped in. And you'll see people who come who've played racket sports and they pick it up really, really quick. Mm-hmm. But then you'll see also people, and it's amazing to watch the transformation from someone who has admittedly no athletic background, uncoordinated, haven't exercised. You know, they ask, can we play? And it's like, yes. And within a few weeks, it's amazing to see how they've progressed. And that's the one good thing about this sport. You can play it at, 5 years old into your 80s. There's a gentleman who I've played a number of times. He is in his 80s, and he beats me almost every time because he has such a good touch. He can, direct the ball anywhere he wants to, and I'm chasing around the court trying to get to it. So it's great fun, and it's a sport that you can learn quickly so that you don't get discouraged, and it's something that can be a lifelong sport.
So are there Newburyport tournaments like the Newburyport Open or something like that?
We haven't started that, but we do want to have that. Our goal is to really kind of expand beyond just playing the game. We love the idea that people are coming to Perkins Park, for example, from all ages. We have young kids coming, 20s and 30s. We have people up until their 80s. We have multi-generational families. There's two families in particular that have been coming and gotten the grandfather, the parents, the children involved. And it's great to see that because one of our goals is to build this kind of intergenerational programming so that it brings the young people together with seniors around an activity. We also are so happy to see members from the Perkins Park neighborhood joining us. We have some regulars that love the game now, that are totally addicted. We have people from other towns coming into Newburyport. We have lifelong residents coming. We have new members of our community here in Newburyport. So it's really a cross-section, and that's why we think really pickleball helps to build a more vibrant community, and we're seeing that every day. I have to say that there was recently an editorial in the Daily News that talked about it being just a game for older people and transplanted people coming into Newburyport, and that it was just a fad sport, and that really detracted from the opportunities for youth to play on the courts, the tennis courts and basketball courts at Perkins Park. And they were concerned about the pickleball lines that we painted for the courts. And really, when it gets right down to it, we view the opportunity to have multiple sports and a multiple function court area at Perkins as a blessing. It allows the Parks Department to provide additional opportunities to play and be active in outdoor sports. And it really draws people. I mean, we have kids who were playing basketball, and then they were seeing us play pickleball, and so they'd jump in and start playing pickleball. So it's great to see that kind of multi-sports playing. And really, we look to share those courts and the facilities and assets that this community has. And anybody who is interested, I definitely encourage them to get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me at jamesjones631@gmail.com. I'll be happy to give you more information about the program. But it is a tremendous opportunity to get to know your neighbor, your friends, other family members, while you're doing something that is tremendously active and fun.
James Jones 631 at gmail.com.
Yes, .com.
And you're talking about the multiple uses. Well, that was part of the deal with the Jim Stalin Field up at Newburyport High School.
Yes.
Because they wanted to have the turf there so they could not only play football, but play boys and girls soccer and play field hockey and probably lacrosse up there too. So that's the way it's going these days.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that is something that's really strong for our community because it exposes more and more people to different types of activities. I have to admit, though, my goal is to somewhere in Newburyport to build pickleball courts. We have some courts that are in the North Shore area. Salem just opened up some of their courts. And my goal is that we do have some dedicated pickleball courts. And that would help us, to your point about having a tournament here in the city. One of the things that we would like to do in terms of a local tournament is to go ahead and have a 2 to 3 day weekend tournament. And all of the proceeds coming from that would go to a local charity or a local cause. In addition to that, and this again goes to the heart that this is not just a fun game. If we had local tournaments here, those players who are coming in from all over, even beyond the North Shore, would be in our downtown, would be in our stores, in our restaurants. So there's an economic benefit as well. Our goals are to go beyond just having a great sport available to residents and surrounding communities. We want to be in the schools working with their phys ed and after school programs. We want to be working with employers so that we have employee fitness programs, really expand the intergenerational programming and play, offer free clinics and lessons. We want to make sure that this is a long-term opportunity and activity here in the community. And we see that there are tremendous opportunities to kind of really reach out and involve more people.
I can see you talking to the people who are trying to develop the parks down at the waterfront. Wouldn't that be something?
Yes, indeed.
Get a pickleball. Now, a quick question. You're talking about basketball courts, so those are hard courts. I was thinking in tennis, they also have grass courts and clay courts. Can you play pickleball on the various different court surfaces?
If you learn how to do that, let me know. To my knowledge, I have heard some people play on a clay-like court. I think that's a rarity, and I've never heard anybody playing on a grass court. I'm not sure it'd be very successful.
You need the bounce, right?
You need the bounce, yeah. The ball doesn't bounce as high as a tennis ball. So you do have to adjust your swing if you've come from like a tennis background. So I'm not sure those two courts would work. However, we could explore that.
You could start a whole new association. Oh, well, it sounds like you are a busy person. So you have some pickleball action going on this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we'll be at Perkins from 5 to dusk.
Okay, 5 to dusk.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's James Jones 631 at gmail.com.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And one last thing, if I could tell you, Win, that the pickleball is a fun sport. It is something that brings communities together. But it really also hits people very personally at times. I met a woman who told me she was in her 80s, and she came up to me and asked me if she could learn. She said, I don't play sports. I've never been athletic. I'm somewhat uncoordinated. I'm 82 years old, and I haven't been exercising. Can I learn the game? I said, yes. And within about 3 weeks of her coming pretty consistently, she picked it up pretty quick. And one day she came up to me and she said, I can't tell you how much this means to me. And I kind of thought she was just saying how much fun she was having. So I said, yeah, it looks like you're having fun. And then she stopped and she said, it's more than just fun. She said, you see, I pretty much didn't have any friends. I isolated. I never got exercise. And I pretty much led a very lonely life. She said, I took everything it could for me to come here that first night. But now I have friends, and now I'm active, and I exercise, and I'm getting out. I never thought that would happen. And she said, and it's all because of pickleball. And while that may sound funny, I think you see stories like that all the time. We saw another young boy, he was probably 4, when we kicked off the Perkins in June. And I saw him playing, and I came up to him, I said, are you having a good time? He said, I'm having so much fun. He said something to the effect of, I can't believe I'm actually good at this. I thought, okay. And I said, you look like you're having fun. He said, I'm coming this Saturday, and next Saturday, and next Saturday. It was so great. And so you see the impact of pickleball in folks' life. And sometimes it really hits to the core of a person's well-being. So it's exciting to be a part of that.
It certainly is. It sounds like it is, and I know that's something that Sarah Hayden here at NCM Hub has talked about, getting some folks who want to actually record some of the action and get them into the world of sports broadcasting as well. So we're looking forward to seeing that happen too.
As we are. We think it would be a tremendous opportunity.
Oh, it certainly will be. All right. Well, James, thank you so much.
Thank you, Wynn.
And we'll get you back again as we get the update as we turn into the fall season.
There you go.
On pickleball. Newburyport pickleball enthusiast James Jones, our guest this morning here on WJOP Radio, WJOP LP 96.3 FM, Newburyport.